Whoa. Hello everyone, this is Fabio and welcome back to a new video. Since I've just realized that it's the 15th of February and that I haven't done my Games of 2020 list, which is ridiculous, but I completely forgot about it since now I'm back to London. I've been stuck in Italy for the past 2 months basically due to lockdowns, primarily the UK being completely sealed off from the rest of the world. Now I'm back to my apartment. I'm in quarantine because these are the rules. I'm obviously safe and negative to everything, but as I said, the rules. So we have to spend 10 full days within our house and we cannot go anywhere. But that's okay, with plenty of things to do. And one of these, it's this video. I'm super late with this, and yeah, it's a type of video I always love to do, so it's time to do it. Games of 2020 naturally couldn't be a video of mine without the sirens. That's the perfect welcome back. um, in 2020 I've managed to play 13 games, of which I was able to finish 11 of them, as I will explain in a moment. But like always, I have to say I'm very happy with my 2020 gaming wise, primarily because I enjoyed every single game I played, which is, I think, the most important thing, um, thinking about it. And some of them were really impressive, I have to say. But let's just jump in so I don't waste too much of your time with an honorable mention, since it's a game that I play for about 10, 12 hours or something. I haven't finished it, and that is Prey on PS4, also known as, I would say, Bioshock in space. I mean, the influence of Bioshock on this game was quite insane. It's Bioshock, but you just happen to be in space other than undersea. But that's fine. I don't mind it. And I like this kind of first-person shooters very much, like very atmospheric with an interesting story and mysteries. Though I have to say, like that space station, very interesting and cool, but it's nowhere near as cool as Rapture. Let's be honest. Um, but as I say, very cool, very atmospheric. I just need to play it more and finish it in order to have a proper opinion on it. But yeah, it was a very cool first-person shooter on PS4. Let's move to the list proper. At number 12, we have Wolfenstein on PS3. The Wolfenstein series, it's my favorite first-person shooter series of all time. I'm a huge fan of it. I've been a huge fan since I played Wolfenstein 3D back in the days. However, for reasons being not having consoles with me, I've been so far behind with the Wolfenstein series. I mean, I still need to play the New Order and like the Old Blood and all of the rest of the series. And I really want to do it, but as I said, never had the chance. In 2020, however, I was able to play because I want to play all the Wolfenstein games. So I was able to play this, and it was a blast, of course. Like these games are so much fun. The weapons are awesome. The story was ridiculous, just as you expect from a Wolfenstein game. It started like these normal missions against the Nazis, and all of a sudden you have to face like these crazy, insane experiments. In here it was even crazier than I expected, like with this dimension bending machines. I mean, it was like, oh my god, they're going crazy. But as I said, that's what I expected from a Wolfenstein game, and it was a lot of fun. Really, really enjoyed it. It's at the bottom of the list simply because I play games that I enjoy more. It's no other ways to say it. But I say I had a great time and it was a lot of fun. Maybe it was a bit on the long side for my taste for a first person shooter, but it's a minor nitpicking here. But a lot of fun, great stuff on PS3. So at number 12, Wolfenstein. Moving to number 11, we are going to the 3DS with Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. And here I was thinking when I bought the game that this was supposed to be, I thought at least, that this was supposed to be inferior version because this game was originally released on the Wii. So I thought, well, the Wii game is going to be better. I mean, obviously. But after playing the game, I think most likely the Wii version it's the inferior one because this game worked fantastic because of the 3D. I would say, like they took advantage of it very well. There are few and far between, very few games that I play with the 3D on, and this was one of them because it was really was gorgeous for the most part. I especially remember my favorite level was one where you have to pass through like a coast or something, but during a tempest with a huge tidal wave coming at you. So you have to see like in 3D the wave getting bigger and bigger while you have to take refuge. It was fantastic, very well done. Um, I think that platformers, while I still love them, are not something that I will go back to very often. Once here and there, I wouldn't mind, especially as a palate cleanser, which this was exactly that. I was playing RPG after RPG, and all of a sudden said, I need to play something different. Donkey Kong was the choice, and it like covered that brilliantly. I loved it for what it was. It was a lot of fun because I love the Donkey Kong series. It's my favorite platformer series of all time, even more than Mario, simply because I find it funnier in a way. And yeah, always find it more charming than Mario, and like love like the more, let's say, like ethnic music and something like that. A lot of fun. Like the character is a lot of fun and expressive. And but these games are very challenging in a way and frustrating, but in a good way because on certain levels you're going to lose, I don't know, like 20, 25 lives for one level. At the same time, though, it's very easy to gain lives in this game, so it's kind of fair in a way. But especially those levels with the mine cart, what they were unsufferable for me. I was almost yelling at my 3DS, which is a good thing in a way. Like they got a reaction out of me, so mission accomplished, I get. But really good game, really really fun game, and exactly what I wanted at that moment. Next, we're moving into number 10, which is a very interesting one, and that is Exist Archive on the PS Vita. And this is another game that I haven't finished. However, differently from Prey, I put more than 60 hours into this RPG by Tri-Ace. And thinking about it, this game has so much potential. It could have been much better, even though it's already, I think it's a good game already. It could have been better, I think. Primarily, I think Exis Archive shines through its gameplay, which is really good. It's a great idea. It's a Metroidvania RPG, basically, with a turn-based combat system, which is fantastic. I think, for what I understand, it's the perfected version of the Valkyrie Profile, not Chronicle, Valkyrie Profile series. And because of Exist Archive now, I really want to get into Valkyrie Profile. I have all the games, I just need to find the occasion to get into the series. But that combat system was really cool. Now that I got it, thanks to this game, I cannot wait to jump into Valkyrie Profile because I'm a huge Tri-Ace fan. Like, I love the Star Ocean series, for example. I always wanted to get into Valkyrie Profile, but I only tried with Covenant of the Plume, and that game kicked my ass, so I won't try from the beginning. But back to Axis Archive. As I said, great gameplay, especially like you explore the maps in a like 2D Metroidvania style, which is very interesting for an RPG, and then you get into combat into a turn-based mode. So I love that very much. The music was very good. Graphics on the PS Vita, the game was gorgeous. At least I liked that style. The story was interesting, and I like where it was going, but I think it could have been told a bit better with a bit more cutscenes than just audios. But as I said, very interesting stuff. But it didn't pack the punch that I was hoping in the grand scheme of things, especially like throwing a difficulty spike after 60 hours once you're facing potentially one of the final bosses. It was kind of a dick move in my opinion, so that kind of made me drop it. Ideally I would like to finish it, but I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I got what I wanted out of it, and I was kind of annoyed by that. So we'll see, but I enjoyed it. Could have been better. That's why it's a number 10. Number 9, we're moving back to the PS4 with Mass Effect Andromeda. Took me a long time to finish it simply because my PS4 is in Italy. So, and once I was there, I was playing Prey. I was like, wait a second, I need to finish Mass Effect Andromeda. This game was a big source of controversy back in the day, and I don't know. I've since I played it for the first time, and remember, this was the game that made me buy the PS4 actually. So I was massively anticipated it because I'm a huge fan of the original trilogy. I love the Mass Effect games, but playing Andromeda to completion, uh, I have to say this game is pretty great actually, and it's such a shame that we'll never have a proper sequel to Andromeda because I'm sure BioWare will never touch the game again. Now, obviously, they're finally dropping the HD remake of the original trilogy, which I don't think I'm gonna get, even though I love Mass Effect, but I already experienced the trilogy. I don't see the point of replaying them just for better graphics. Who cares about that? However, Andromeda, I was really impressed with certain elements and kind of let down by others, meaning I think gameplay wise, this might be the best game in the series. Fantastic gameplay, amazing combat, and as I said, it's probably together with the first Mass Effect the most RPG of the series. While 2 and 3 are action games with some RPG elements, 1 and Andromeda are RPGs basically. Um, and also, personally, I think the game looks good, even though we know all the graphical issues and technical problems the game has. The main letdown, to me at least, was the story. It was not very interesting, or at least the idea, the concept was very cool. Like the whole thing with the Andromeda Initiative, fantastic stuff. The execution and especially the resolution of that story, not so much for one issue that I have, and that it's the villain. The villains, the main enemies of the game are very boring. Like the cat, uh, yeah, very generic. Especially the main villain, like the cat's leader or whatever is the Archon, maybe I think. Like what a yawn. I mean, not interesting at all. So I don't know. I think it could have been an interesting like beginning to a bigger series of events that will never happen. But I would love a Pathfinder trilogy, to be honest. Um, but yeah, as I said, it's not gonna happen anytime soon because the game had a huge backlash. It didn't sell very well. It had a very troubled development, and as I said, there is a big bag of negativity. So maybe Bioware will rekindle some of its fan base with the HD remakes of the trilogy, and then maybe they'll do something more with Mass Effect. But yeah, I'll be very disappointed by the fact that it will never touch Andromeda again, which is a shame. It has a gigantic amount of potential that could have been very special, and there are plenty of good stuff about this game. But let's move on with the list. At number 8, we're going all the way back to the PlayStation 2 with Ys 6, The Ark of Napishtim. Finally managed to play this game. And I loved it from beginning to end. These are the type of Ys games that I love. These old school platforming action RPGs. They are amazing. So, and it's basically this was started by Napishtim, which was then perfected into Felghana and Origin, which are of course the best games in the series. Napishtim it's not as polished, let's say, as Felghana, but it's so good. I mean, I had so much fun. The music is excellent, especially certain tunes and themes are really some highlights. I mean, for example, it has my favorite opening music of the series, like in terms of the animation per se. Like on the PS2, it's absolute garbage because they westernized it. Like the original Japanese opening, it's the best of the series in my opinion. As it's as it's now on the PS2, yeah, I know there is a code to unlock the Japanese one, but I didn't care about it. But that horrendous garbage CGI 3D version, oh, it's so bad. It's hilariously bad. But there is that kick-ass music in the background. It's everything's gonna be fine. And also, like, my God, this game is hard. I mean, as I was always saying, like, Ease 8 was a walk in the park, basically. I play on normal, like all my games. Never died, never seen the game over screen uh, throughout the 40 hours that took me to beat Ease 8. So, Ease 6, I died so many times. So many times. The boss battles are so brutally difficult, especially some of them. You really don't know what to do for the longest time, and you're getting crazy with rage as you keep dying and dying and dying. Again, you have that fantastic boss battle music in the background, which helps a lot. But oh my goodness, all these games are so hard and good. So we'll see what Ease 9 will do. I heard people singing the praise, whatever that means, because yeah, everyone loves Ease 8. I didn't, so we'll see, but I still love the series. There's nothing I can do. I love these Falcon games. Let's move on to number 7, which is an interesting one, I think. Tales of Zestiria. For whatever reason, once I was there in Italy this Christmas, I saw my PS4 collection. I saw all of this, like the Tales games that I own. I say I really want to play one of them, and for whatever reason, the choice happened to be Zestiria. And I also know that among Tales fans, this game it's not particularly loved. Actually, quite the contrary. It's one of the least favorites, I would say. And now that I played it, I was scratching my head and still asking like, why? This is a fantastic game. Although, for what I understand, like gameplay wise, it's not as technical as it can be. So who the crap cares? I mean, I had a ton of fun with its gameplay, and there were some like primarily marketing decisions by Namco Bandai in the way they handle the characters. All big details that like sparkle like a big fire of controversy, which I didn't see honestly. Like I played the game and greatly enjoyed it for like what 50 hours or something that it required. But as I say, I really enjoyed the story of Soray, the shepherd, and the whole bringing together the Seraphins in order to defeat the Lord of Calamity. It's a very much Tales of game, and I love it. I love this series. Every time I played it, it's like you would expect from an RPG, but this is always the pattern with a Tales game to me. Like it starts kind of slow, but then I get so much into the characters and the story that I ended up loving it. And the ending of Zestiria was very epic. Like the final battle between Soray and the Lord of Calamity. I cannot remember his name. It was a generic fantasy name, but it was really cool though. Also, like great cast of characters, of course. Like I think, like to me, the highlight of the game was Edna. Of course, she is hilarious. But also, like Dazzle was great. Zahir was great. Um, Alicia was good for the few moments we got to spend with her. I think there is a DLC or something where you play her side of the story, but I didn't have time for that. But Rose was also okay. Like one of the controversy was like it seemed that Alicia was the main female character, but then Rose was, so people was confused. But they were both cool in their own way. The music was amazing. I mean, some tunes throughout the game were absolutely breathtaking. And of course, the game looked incredible on the PS4. I'm sure there are better games out there, but man, I was really impressed with this game. It's like, why do people hate it? It's great, and I cannot wait to go back to Italy in order to play Berseria now, since it's a sort of prequel. So a lot of people would say play Berseria first and then Zestiria. No, I always follow release order with these things because I'm pretty sure most of the time you will enjoy and appreciate prequels more if you know where are they going. But that's just me. But yeah, number 7, Tales of Zestiria. Fantastic Tales games. I don't care what everyone says. Let's move to number 6, and it kills me that it's outside of the top 5, but there's nothing I can do, and that it's Dragon Quest XI. Played it on the Switch, and it was mind-blowing. I mean, I love Dragon Quest. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and this game, it's just so good. Absolutely, I think this is one of the best Dragon Quest games ever made, and I would argue potentially one of the best entry point for someone who's completely new to the series, since that's a constant question. Because there are so many Dragon Quest games, everyone asking where should I start? My answer is always wherever you like. Because with Dragon Quest, you don't need to play it in a specific order, with the exception of the first three. In that case, yes, play 1, 2, 3, not 3, 1, 2, and then play the rest of the series. Um, and 11, well, we all know technically 11 is supposed to be the prequel of everything. So there's that, a bit of a spoiler. But, anyways, um, the thing with this game, it's such a fantastic experience. Um, it looks incredible, obviously. Like, even on the Switch, I'm sure on the PS4 would be even better, but on the Switch it was such a joy to play this gorgeous, huge Dragon Quest adventure. I love the cast of characters, love the music, love the classic Dragon Quest combat system. I had such a big smile on my face with the old school mode that you can experience on certain points. It's such a love letter to the series. I cannot wait to see whatever they're going to do with Dragon Quest 12 in the 5 to 7 years it will take them to develop it. But man, it's if I needed a reason to love Dragon Quest even more than I normally do, 11 was such a great experience. Loved it from beginning to end. I would say it's a mandatory RPG on the Switch. It's mandatory for RPG lovers. So whenever you want to get into RPGs, Dragon Quest 11 is a great, I would say, first experience so you can get into the classic RPG feeling through Dragon Quest, experience a great story. Man, you cannot get wrong with this game. So, so good. And now we're moving into the top five. And we're going to start. It was hard, I would say. Like, organizing the top five was really tough, but I'm kind of sure now, maybe, perhaps. Yes, let's go. Number five, we have Fire Emblem Three Houses. So we're sticking with the Switch. What a great Fire Emblem game. Um, I think I'm still on the fence that Awakening is my favorite. It's still my favorite. While everything afterwards it seems like just perfected what Awakening did. However, Three Houses, I would say the first part of the game, the school section, was not as impressive. I mean, I liked it very much. It allows you to get to know the characters and everything, but I think the game really shines once it goes into the war section. And that's where all the emotions of the game are, because like basically you have to kill your own students. It's brutal, but so great. So far, I've played it only once and completed the Black Eagles story, which was fantastic. And what else can I say? It's Fire Emblem. It's the absolute king of strategy RPGs. Uh, it plays fantastic on the Switch. The music, it's incredibly good, especially that song during the final battle with the choir and everything. It's so damn epic. I mean, there is a reason why Fire Emblem is another personal favorite series of mine, and Three Houses was a fantastic addition to the series. And I cannot wait to see what Intelligent Systems will do for the future of the series, since now, thanks to Awakening, it's mainstream and it has a lot of Nintendo's attention. But so far, number five, Three Houses. Such a good game. Number four. Number four, we're moving back to the 3DS with a game that I cannot believe it took me so long to get into it. Simply, it just didn't happen for whatever reason. But I'm so glad that I finally played it, and that is Stella Glow. Potentially one of the best RPGs on the 3DS. Again, phenomenal strategy RPG, quite simple in the execution as gameplay wise, but really effective. Loved it. To me, the highlight of the game, of course, it's the story. The characters are great, but their development and that story, I love those kind of stories. really, really much. Um, I cannot expand it too much because of spoilers, but I love the twist that happens halfway through the game. As I said, the progression from there, the emotions, the true ending, which is the one I got, which is great. But it's this game. It's such a gem on the 3DS. Loved it so much. It's as I say, it's a shame that it took me so long to get into it. Um, but at least now I played it to completion. Immensely enjoyed it, and I'd say it's one of those games that you have to play it. If you have a 3DS, get Stellar Glow. I think it's getting a bit expensive, but it's so good. I say top-notch strategy RPG, regardless of its simplicity in terms of combat system. I mean, simple doesn't mean bad, of course. Um, and say, that story, so good. And the music, of course. How can I not praise the music, since it plays such an important part within the story that those witches' songs are just unforgettable. Number three, we're gonna stick with the 3DS, as it was so hard not pushing this game a bit further, but Persona Q2 has to be at least in the top three. Potentially, I don't know, is this the best 3DS RPG? Maybe. That would be a list for another day. But I would say at least, again, top five 3DS RPG. This game is so good. Um, the interesting thing is, as I said on another video previously, together with Persona 4 Golden, Persona Q2 managed to complete my passage from being kind of indifferent into a fan of SMT. It finally happened. It took me ages because at first I wasn't so much of a fan. Actually, quite a contrary. I was a bit indifferent toward them, but in a weird way, because as I looked at this game, I always thought I should like this. Why it's not happening? Because they have plenty of things that I love in games, like great stories, great characters, interesting themes and topics, great music, dark and twisted ideas. I mean, all things that I love. But I think the gameplay is the main culprit of that. For years, it really made me drag my feet with the SMT, including Persona formula. And it's not like the very sort of basic idea that you have to find the weak spot of an enemy, take advantage of that. That's cool. I think it was primarily the demons and like fusing demons and all of that. I found it a bit annoying. I mean, at least it didn't work with me. It started clicking with Persona 4 primarily because that gameplay was carried by a fantastic story and top-notch cast of character. That's why I keep saying Persona 4 is a great visual novel with an RPG attached to it, because the combat and the gameplay was almost secondary to me while I was experiencing Persona 4. Persona Q2, on the other hand, really made me love the combat, even though it's the same, but it kind of holds you by your hand. It's not easy, even though I play. Yeah, I played it on easy, which is okay. I don't care, because at least I was able to enjoy it. Now that I'm currently playing Persona 3 Portable, I'm playing the game on normal, as I should, and I'm enjoying it very much. But it's primarily thanks to these two games, and I have to say Persona Q2 was even better than Persona 4 Golden. I mean, yeah, it's a giant spin-off or whatever. You take all the cast of this game together, so you have this ginormous party of characters. But the overall story was actually fantastic, I have to say. I love how they explore important topics such as conformism and people wanting to be accepted by society through movies because of story reasons. Very well done. Gorgeous game on the 3DS. Fantastic soundtrack, of course. And yeah, as I said, one of the best RPGs I played in 2020, and that you can get on the 3DS, which it says something, considering that the 3DS is quite the RPG machine. So at number three, Persona Q2. Number two, I think it's pretty insane that this game it's not my winner, but for reasons. And at number two, we have Trails of Cold Steel 3. Insane, I know. but I I'm gonna stick with this because Trails of Cold Steel 3, it's fantastic, of course. It's a Legend of Heroes games. Um, I'm very curious to see what Cold Steel 4 will do this year. Since I haven't played it yet, I'm waiting on the Switch version because there's no way I'm gonna play this game on the PS4. But it's very interesting to see the progression of the Cold Steel series. And 3 to me feels very much as a mixture between both 1 and 2. You start the game and it feels very much like 1, so you go around Erebonia doing the school missions and all of that. Halfway through the game, however, there is a huge event that allows the game to go insane story-wise, and I loved it. That's when the more like 2 part comes in, and you're a bit freer. You're free from the school missions. You have to explore even more of the lore of this world, and it gets amazing. And the ending of 3 was just ridiculous. I mean, I was very much like, what? Because something happened. Plenty of things happened. This is a very busy game, and yeah, the final twist was just insane. Yeah, and as it ends, you really just want to jump into 4 and finish this freaking story. But I mean, it's a Cold Steel game. It's great stuff. Unforgettable characters. I really like the new Class 7 as well, though there might not be as memorable as the original one. As I said, I like those members, especially Altina, by far the best member of New Class 7. While I would say Ash, it's probably my least favorite, even though he has an interesting twist by the end. For the most part of the game, I was kind of annoyed by his attitude. Musa, it's okay. I mean, again, the constant flirting was kind of getting annoying and repetitive, but there is an interesting twist there. And the same with what's her name? I cannot remember her name. Oh well, the crossbow girl. Again, a bit annoying at first, but she gets much better throughout the game. And of course, Reen. I'm very interested in what's gonna happen in 4 with him, because like this huge story, it's getting so interesting and out of hand. The music is, of course, it's top notch. It's a Falcom game, and I just love that gameplay. I absolutely love the turn-based strategy hybrid that was introduced by Trails in the Sky, but was perfected by Cold Steel. And I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the next arc, which has been already announced, the Trails of Black. I think it's like Kuro no Kiseki, it's finally going to be the Calvard arc, which has been waiting for ages. So we'll see what's going to happen there. But I mean, I'm a huge fan of Legend of Heroes. It's my current favorite RPG series. I love this incredible world building that it's taking place, um, and all the ramifications and the connections between each individual game. Oh, it's so good. I believe this year we're gonna have Hajimari no Kiseki on Switch as well, or maybe next year. I'm not sure, but naturally I'm gonna play that as well, which it's going to be very interesting considering what that game is. But if we're gonna get 2 Trails game in the same year, oof, I'm gonna be very busy. But incredible enough, this was just at number 2. Number 1, I had to do it. I couldn't believe it how much I enjoyed this game, and that is 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. A visual novel, my game of the year, I know, but it makes sense to me because, after all, as I keep saying, my most important element in a game, it's the story. And 13 Sentinels is just that. It's a story-driven experience to which they add some gameplay, which I really enjoyed. To be honest, I think that this game would have been even better if, instead of the weird-ish, even though as I say, I enjoyed it, but that a rather simple strategy, real-time strategy game, we're gonna have like a strategy RPG, kind of like Front Mission. That would have been incredible, I think. Though probably this game took a lot of vanillaware resources, so that would have been even more complicated. However, I love that story. I mean, a great sci-fi experience. You can argue that it's like the time travel aspect was very interesting considering like the different time periods, and this is spoiler reasons um, for time travel. But I mean, to me, this game was such a huge love letter to classic sci-fi anime. That's why I love it so much, particularly that battle toward the end of the game when you have this like huge armada of kaijus coming at you, and you have the protagonist fighting while there is the idol singing in the background. It's like, oh my god, this is such like this is Macross. This is such a tribute to Macross, and it was incredible. When you see all the like the missiles raining from the sky with the song in the background, it's like, oh my god, I'm I'm getting young again, basically. It's such nostalgia pop from me. But also, like, I love the story. It was so interesting at parts, jumping from all the different 13 characters. Every one of them to me was very interesting. How they were all connected. The ending was so good. I was very happy with the ending. But and also like I'm a huge Vanillaware fan. I love all of the games that from them that I played, such as Odin Sphere was great, loved it. Muramasa was fantastic. I think it's my favorite game on the Wii. What else? I have Grand Knight's History, but I've never played it, even though I have it. But it's such a shame that that game was never released here in the West. But yeah, I'm such a fan of them and their style. Really, really liked it. After I played the game, and 13th Century, I think it's so far it might be my favorite game by them. I don't know, Muramasa was so good, but the story experience that was 13th Sentinel, and as I said, like, let's talk about the gameplay, because again, it might be overshadowed a little bit, but it was actually a lot of fun. I love the strategy, real-time strategy, which was very out of nowhere to me. Because as I said, I was hoping for a strategy RPG, but this worked. I was having so much fun doing those gameplay mission, which always I think it's kind of necessary within a visual novel. So that allows you to relax a little bit from all the reading, basically. But yeah, it was an amazing experience, and for a lover of storytelling such as myself, it was a no-brainer that I was going to love this game regardless. But I really love where they actually went with this game, story-wise speaking, and the huge tribute to anime, since I'm a huge anime fan. And yeah, even the gameplay, I loved it, and the music was fantastic. I mean, that idol song, it's just burned into my mind now. But yeah, there you have it. These are my games of 2020. Definitely let me know what you think. What have you, like, finally made this game list. It took me ages, but it's out of the way now. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.
冗談だろう。このペースで敵が増加すればとても持たせられない。そうだ。それならさ、君がいる間、歌を聴かせてくれよ。
わかった。声が届く間は、君たちとつながっている。
警告 D 信号接近。迎撃態勢。戦闘情報処理開始。
行くぞ。気を緩めるな。手数を増やす。機体の状態は俺の番だな。